Hello guys, welcome back to the video. Today we are reacting to Film Theory, how Disney Plus is destroying streaming by the film theory. So, Disney Plus is destroying streaming, not even Netflix. When I watch Netflix and I don't think Disney Plus is destroying streaming, which I don't know. I've never watched Disney Plus ever. So maybe it is, but I don't know. So 3, 2, 1, let's react. In a streaming service marketplace that's far, far too crowded. I mean, there's only like 3 streaming platforms I know, or 4. There's Netflix, Hulu, iFlix, if you all know that, and Disney Plus. Those are the only 4 streaming services I know. Does Apple have a streaming service? I mean, everybody has a streaming service nowadays. Amazon, I'm pretty sure, has one. Does Google have one? I don't know. Streaming Wars. Oh, this is the longest time in a MatPat video that there's no voices. There's just only sound. 16 seconds without voices is a lot of time without no voices. Netflix. Peacock. HBO, yeah. HBO and NBC, I'm pretty sure that is. Yeah, it's far, far too crowded now. Now I think about it, it's far, far too crowded. And Apple, yes. Then Amazon. And then the Mickey Mouse. Baby Yoda. I mean, what movie was Baby Yoda in? I don't know. It's in Star Wars something. It flopped. I'm pretty sure it flopped. Pretty sure Rotten Tomatoes like 20%. It's very bad. You would say.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's here to remind you that YouTube and chill is a great financially responsible alternative if you can't afford Netflix after its latest price hike. If you haven't already noticed, the subscription video streaming situation is getting pretty darn complicated. Oh,
Yeah.
over here on Team Internet, most of us already know that the rise of subscription streaming has ushered the demise of cable TV. With 44.3 million American households already having cut the cord. The cable
I mean, we still have cable here, but I don't use cable at all. All right. I've never used cable since 6 months ago. No, 10. So yeah, I've always watched YouTube, Netflix, and all of that. I don't watch cable anymore because we have a 4K TV, and the only quality on that TV, most of the channels are 480p, and a lot of other channels are like 1080p. And we don't even use our 4K TV. And sometimes it's only 480p. So I just want to use YouTube so that I can get 1080p, sometimes even 4K, to maximize the usage of my television.
cord, in case you don't know what the cord refers to anymore, because at this point it's so antiquated. Yeah, there was a plug that ran into your house to plug into your TV that gave you bonus channels. It was crazy, and now those cords are being cut. Those of us who are dumped into the real world in the middle of a recession absolutely understand why this is. Cable is just freaking expensive, and those prices keep climbing even when the best content flees to subscription platforms. And it forces people into bundles, getting them to buy tons of junk that they don't want just to get a couple of things that they do. When streaming first came onto the scene a decade ago, it was a solution to both of those issues. Not to go all Grandpa MatPat on you, but when I first started watching my girlfriend's Netflix subscription, I mean, ordering Netflix for myself as a fully grown adult, it was $7.99 a month. Now there's multiple different plans and they max out at $16 a month. Come on, guys. It makes you wish for the good old days, but not the too old days where you're back into cable TV territory, but like the good old days that are kind of after cable TV days, but before the days that are now. Basically when Netflix first launched, okay? And now in 2020, everyone is rushed to the streaming well, and the Disney Plus.
Yeah, because it makes a lot of money. Streaming services make a lot of money, so every like TV company just wants to, get the streaming service out, get advertisements out about that streaming service, get people to watch it, get people to pay for it, all that stuff.
Pluses and the Apple TV Pluses, and pretty much anybody else who feels like tossing a plus at the end of their name is getting in on the gold rush. There are even more big names like NBCU's Peacock and Warner Media's HBO Max on the way. And if you think this is gonna end well with dozens of streaming companies coexisting in harmony, think again. This is a battle to the streaming service death.
Yeah.
Rip CISO and Verizon Go 90 and Yahoo Screen. This is only the beginning. There's an estimated $24.8 billion out there for the taking. And these services are desperate to make
$24.8 billion. Wow.
anything that'll get you to come over to their service and watch.
I don't know. 5 of my friends got Netflix deals. It's a very achievable goal.
To make matters even more
Yeah,
competitive,
Rick and Morty's also on Netflix. I just, every good movie or TV show that I want to watch, I just hope it's on Netflix. Because, if it's on Netflix, you can watch it anytime you want and every time you want. Wait, YouTube has a streaming service? I didn't know that. Wow.
now every network is territorial. Long gone are the days where Netflix can just sit back and simply offer hit NBC shows like The Office or hit Disney movies. Now the NBCs and the Disneys of the world have their own streaming platforms, and they're taking their content back and making sure that it doesn't go out to play with the other neighborhood riffraff. Streaming services live or die by their content library, and there's only one company out there whose library has been known and readily merchandised for the last 50-odd years, and that one is Disney. But are the Little Mermaids and Lizzie McGuires of the world enough to crush obsessive hits like Game of Thrones, The Good Place, and Nailed It? Is the last one just me? Nicole Byers is a gem and a mood
Nailed it? Really? Nailed it? Gotta be kidding.
simultaneously, okay? No, my friends, the question that I'm asking today is who will win the streaming wars? In an ecosystem that
I mean, Netflix has already won. Years ago, alright? That's what I'm just gonna say. Alright?
is overcrowded and oversaturated with consumers strapped for cash, who will survive? Well, turns out that we didn't have to guess who's poised to win the streaming war because there's a lot of evidence out there to point us in the right direction. And while it might seem that this is just a question for business nerds, think again, my theorists. If the streaming service you subscribe to isn't at the top of this list, you better start advocating for your favorite shows now, otherwise they're likely to go the way of the silent film and VHS tapes of the world. Lost to media history forever. Might as well find out now if your favorite streaming service is going under so you can start your online petition to save whatever your favorite show is. Tiny House Nation? Cable TV's petered out over the last 10 years because the prices are so crazy they've become unsustainable, but ironically the streaming service wars are likely to share some similarities. Costs of each of these services are rising, even if the content on them is becoming more and more fragmented. Netflix has had 4 price hikes, even in the midst of losing some of its biggest shows. As recently as last year, a comedy fan in the US could watch Friends, The Office, and Orange is the New Black all in one place, Netflix, for the low price of $8.99 a month. But now those 3 shows are spread across 3 separate streaming services. And to get them all, surprise, surprise, nowadays, you're shelling out a whopping $35 a month.
What's that? Editor's note? $35 a month. Wow.
Nowadays, you're shelling out a whopping
Editor's note. 2 of these services have multiple price tiers. As a result, having all 3 could cost anywhere between $29 and $41.
$5 a month. As shows scatter, it also means that viewership is being spread thinner and thinner. It's called siloing. Siloing is making it so people often aren't watching the same shows as each other, which means that massive cultural events where everyone gathers around to watch the final season of something or the final episode of something just isn't a thing in 2020. It also means that spoiler alerts now have to exist in perpetuity. And on a personal note, it just makes it really hard for me to pick streaming shows to cover here on Film Theory. I mean, how is a guy supposed to pick shows to cover on this series with so many ridiculous streaming services out there? If I were you, I'd be watching BoJack Horseman on Netflix, but there's a chance that you're all watching, I don't know, Midsummer Murders on Acorn or some nonsense. That's why I have to do this episode. I have to know which service is gonna survive and tell you guys about it so we can all be on the same page and plan episodes out on this channel accordingly. Maybe this is just another episode of selfish content after all. So with all that said, let's just get into the numbers and figure it out. It's easy to root for the incumbent here, Netflix. Not only
Netflix. Netflix is just a big guy here, you know, Disney Plus, way in the back, cause just Netflix and chill.
is Netflix the current market leader with an 87% penetration rate among US over-the-top video subscribers, but Netflix is still projected to be in first place by a wide margin in 2024. Now,
Prime Video has a lot of subscribers. I never think that. What does Prime Video have that it has 134 million subscribers in 2024? I don't know. What does Prime Video have? I really don't know.
now, I know what you're all thinking. Penetration rate is a hilarious term, and I agree. But penetration rate is also a metric used to describe market share in the streaming marketplace. Basically, of everyone who has any kind of digital streaming service, 87% of them have Netflix. This is compared to companies like Prime Video with a 53% penetration rate and Hulu at 41.5%. Netflix has also shown that its huge market share isn't easily shaken. Some experts predicted Netflix could lose up to 25% of their subscribers when Disney Plus launched, but it lost almost none. Netflix's reviews and ratings are higher in number and better in rating than Amazon and Hulu. The Netflix app is downloaded. Ratings are higher in number and better.
This movie was fantastic. All the actors did a wonderful job bringing their characters to life, and the direction was phenomenal. The cinematography was one of some of the best work that Deakins has done in years. That Oscar was really overdue. Let me say, I wonder how many people are actually going to get this for we need this bit. I mean, it's only going to be on screen for a little bit, but hey, your passion is appreciated. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. YouTube needs that stuff. Anyway, here's one wrong. Typical Netflix review. Yeah, like and subscribe down below in the description. It really helps out a lot about some, I don't know.
In rating than Amazon and Hulu. The Netflix app is downloaded far more often than Amazon Video. And certainly not least of all, Netflix develops original content that's nominated for top industry awards. Dozens of Oscar nominations and over a half dozen Golden Globes just this year alone. According to Variety in 2019, quote, asked to pick their favorite shows on Netflix, users surveyed put Orange is the New Black at number 1 and Stranger Things at number 2, topping licensed shows like The Office and Friends. They clearly see this as a path forward. In 2019, Netflix spent $15 billion on original programming. That is
$15 billion on original programming in 2019 alone? How much did they make? Because that's a lot of money to go to original programming. Wow.
is more than Prime Video, Hulu, and Disney Plus combined. Across 2019, Netflix released on average more than one new show per day. The TLDR here is that this date night juggernaut ain't going nowhere, at least until it starts running out of money. You see, the first problem with Netflix is that it's spending that much money on programming. For a long time, Netflix wasn't even profitable as a company. It is now, but it spends the vast majority of its revenue on new programming, meaning that it has no buffer to survive a few lean years. If things start to go badly, Netflix isn't in a position to be able to sustain itself. On top of that, Netflix in 2020 is no longer able to do what it was intended to do. It was supposed to break down barriers in access to entertainment, so people wouldn't have to order cable packages with 600 channels just so they could watch 4 of them. But now, with so many streaming platforms out there, each guarding even smaller segments, now, in order for our comedy fan from before to watch the 3 shows that they want, they have to buy platforms with a ton of stuff that they don't like. That is no different than cable. It's not Netflix's fault, but the media landscape has put it into a position where it can't really play the whole field anymore. Now, Netflix has to perform or die. It has to create its own shows that are big hits, or else it's gonna fall apart. And when it starts falling apart, it falls apart in a hurry. So Netflix's chances of being the winner here are slim, at best. I mean, just look
Are very, very slim.
the other contenders, namely the $254 billion flying elephant in the room, Disney. Sure, Netflix might seem like a behemoth in the realm of streaming, but it is a downright puny company when you compare it to Disney, Amazon, Apple, and the other conglomerates that are far more diversified in the businesses that they do. In essence, Netflix can't afford to have a bad year in the streaming marketplace because subscription streaming is its entire business model. They have to succeed now, and they have to keep succeeding. Meanwhile, behemoths like Apple, Amazon, and especially Disney can all play the long game because they can afford to play the long game. Subscription streaming is only a fraction of their business models. They have money coming in hand over fist from any of the other dozens of things that they do. But, you know, some people are just blessed, like Disney, a streaming service that doesn't look like it needs to play the long game at all. Disney Plus attracted a staggering 10 million subscribers on its first day.
10 million subscribers on its first day. I don't know what shows are there, I don't know what movies are there, but there's a lot of things in there. You know, some Disney classics, probably The Incredibles, you know, 101 Dalmatians, Snow White is probably there, Cinderella, all the classic Disney movies are probably there, classic, and also the new movies of, you know, Disney, new shows of Disney are also there. So that's probably why it attracted 10 million subscribers on its first day.
Putting its penetration rate among subscription video customers at 5% on day one. That would be like 5% of all YouTube viewers subscribing to one channel on the day it launches. And Disney is reportedly very committed to its streaming plan. Quote, Disney CEO Bob Iger said last February that streaming apps are now the company's #1 priority, end quote. Also, Disney has 61 shows in development, looking towards that Netflix benchmark. Well,
61 shows in development. Wow.
At the same time, not paying any licensing fees since Disney owns everything in its vault. This becomes an even bigger deal when you compare Disney to companies like Amazon and Apple. Also huge companies in their own right, but not entertainment companies first and foremost. Disney has decades of audience research, data, and fan bases for everything from Moana to Iron Man to The Mandalorian. The tech giants, meanwhile, are starting from scratch in entertainment and hoping that Amazon customer data about people who bought cheese graters last year somehow translates into viewership for America's Test Kitchen. Finally, let's not forget that Disney low-key has 4 streaming services active and in use, not just one. It already launched ESPN Plus last year, has
Oh, there are other companies that they own. Alright, and Fox. That makes sense.
control of Hulu following its acquisition of Fox, and it owns the streaming service Hotstar in India, meaning it has a big stake internationally too. The Mandalorian, their new experimental series, became the most
But The Mandalorian, is The Mandalorian the Baby Yoda thing? I don't know where Baby Yoda is, but is it The Mandalorian? I mean, it's Star Wars. I'm pretty sure. I didn't even know it's Star Wars before. I'm not catching up on Star Wars, and I never will. I will never, mark my word, I will never watch a Star Wars movie ever, because I have never done that, and I never will.
demand series.
The guy shows just how much Jeff Bezos is worth using grains of rice. California couple keep car thieves at bay with motion-sensitive sprinkler.
In the world the second it launched, so clearly they're putting their experience and unbelievable knowledge of fandom to work, like yesterday. Looking at it this way, Disney seems like Thanos.
I am inevitable.
Which, again, ironically, Disney also owns. But wait a second, we have another problem here. The way that Disney's structured with its multiple streaming services, it seems like we're headed towards a real B word. Oh yeah, you heard that right. We're headed back towards the bundle. The famous cable service bundle that would force customers into tons of channel packages with all kinds of garbage that they didn't want. From RFD TV, the farming and agricultural channel, to retirement living TV and the puppy channel. Okay, well the last one sounds good, but you get the idea. When I try to buy internet, cable companies still try to sell me bundles with a home phone line, and I have to keep myself from actually smacking them. I mean, bundles are the worst, but Disney is already pushing straight back to Bundle Fest with its lineup of Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, scurrying back to the days of cable faster than you can say Disney deja vu. I mean, over the last couple years, Disney has really been milking the nostalgia for bucks, but in this case, it looks like Disney themselves are nostalgic for business models from like 10 years ago. But that can't be right? They're leaving the days of cable behind. We're a new, innovative generation of media consumers. There has to be someone who can win this war for us cool kids that were too smart for cable, or who are too poor for cable, but say that we're too smart for cable. What about Amazon Prime? What about Apple, Sony, NBC? Unfortunately, while all of them are backed by really strong companies, they're all plagued with their own issues. Amazon Prime and Apple seem like mega contenders at first glance. They're both backed by massive companies that would be successful with or without streaming entertainment, meaning that they can afford to play around for a little bit without needing a smash success. Apple isn't worried about razor-thin margins like Netflix, but unfortunately a lot of the tech giants are entering an arena they know nothing about. They don't have deep content libraries like Disney, and they aren't coming in with a big entertainment customer base like Netflix. It also doesn't help that these services have some of the most complicated interfaces with some of the worst controls in the industry. It seems petty to call this out, but the fact is you can tell Amazon doesn't understand entertainment customers just by how poorly their TV app works. I mean, what do I own? What don't I own? What do I have to pay to rent? This is like the worst system ever, Amazon. It is miserable, and I'm going completely off book at this point because it is that bad. I have gotten so frustrated so many times trying to watch Amazon shows because each season is its own thumbnail for some reason. Why aren't you housing those together, guys? Why is the buy or rent shelf one of the first shelves that I'm presented with as I'm scrolling through your app? Why would I choose to pay for stuff? You're just showing me the stuff that you don't actually have available for me. And how hard is it to make a functional fast forward and rewind button? I mean, still, you're using the double arrows to fast, like, I can't tell where I'm stopping at any point. It is so...
Wow, MatPat's going on a rant right now about Amazon Prime. Alright, just cancel your subscription and go on to Netflix. Go on to the Pool Boys, or just go on to Disney Plus or something if Amazon Prime Video just pisses you off a lot.
So bad. Oh wow, I had a lot of pent-up feelings there that I just got out. I feel cleansed in some way. Where was I again? Oh yeah, how Amazon and Apple just aren't fit for this war. I mean, same goes for places like CBS Online and other networks. Even if you're willing to settle for their smaller roster of content, good luck being able to even find what you're looking for. The majority of these other streaming service contenders are trying to catch up on all the fronts. They're trying to catch up on building out their product to a usable standard, they're trying to build out their user base to make the whole thing sustainable, and they're starting with tinier content.
What is it? What is this? A content library for ants? Is that how streaming services other than Netflix and Disney Plus treats you?
Libraries.
Alright.
It's just a lot to ask any one service to overcome. And content is not cheap, my friends. I mean, we're cheap here on Film Theory, but you know, that's not saying a whole lot. So is that it? Disney wins? Netflix has a chance as long as they keep dancing and the small guys kind of fall by the wayside? Well, let's check in with the experts. Observer has a pretty comprehensive diagnostic of this space that concludes with the following. Quote, some combination of Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, and YouTube TV will thrive. Apple TV Plus, Hulu, and HBO Max will survive, though not without trouble, and CBS All Access and Peacock will struggle to keep pace, end quote. Mostly this aligns with everything we just discussed. The individual networks won't be able to keep up. Places like Hulu and Apple might be able to hang in there because they're owned by Disney or they're just a tech giant. And winners will be services like Netflix because they had a first mover advantage, and Disney Plus because it's Disney, and Disney doesn't lose at anything at this point. The one outlier here that we haven't mentioned is the one where I'm guessing we all spend a lot of time but don't think much about in this race. YouTube TV. That's right, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube TV. I didn't even know that YouTube had a streaming service at all. And why would they? It just seems like a bad idea, you know?
TV is the wrinkle in all this business that's gonna sweep all the competition if they're not looking out. So let's talk about this relatively new horse in the race. Unlike narrowly focused services from networks like CBS or NBC, YouTube TV aggregates a lot of shows from a lot of different platforms and allows you to either watch them live as they're being shown like regular TV, or save them to your library where you can watch them on demand like Netflix. Your library is unlimited and it never goes away. So essentially you can save every single thing that comes on TV until you have have a library that's quadruple the size of any other streaming platform. And YouTube TV has a lot of channels regular people actually want, like news and sports and Keeping Up with the Kardashians. With that system, we're already able to get around some of those Netflix siloing issues we talked about before. Because it funnels regular TV into the service, it also isn't relying on a static library that it has to build all on its own like Disney Plus. It gets new episodes 24 hours a day as TV keeps airing. And it doesn't need to bundle either because it already comes with stuff like ESPN. I would know because YouTube TV desperately wants me, a 30-year-old white male, to watch football. I don't watch football. I don't click on it when you serve it up to me in the top of my subscription feed. Please fill that wasted screen space with something you might actually think I'll watch. Like Chloe's latest fashion launch, or Infinity Train for the umpteenth time, or JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, because yeah, that's where I watched it, on YouTube TV. And it's fundamentally different from other streaming services because it's also ad-supported, meaning that it's not just relying on subscription revenue for its profit. Now, that might seem like it's cheating, but apparently users don't care because it's become the fastest growing live streaming service in the last year, and it continues to poach.
PlayStation? Wait, am I reading this right? PlayStation? What? What?
Users don't care because it's become the fastest growing live streaming service in the last year, and it continues.
PlayStation. Now I have a PlayStation, and I didn't even know that PlayStation had a streaming service. I mean, I knew Sony does, but not PlayStation. Does everybody have a streaming service now? Does Microsoft have one? They're probably working on it. Google. What else? Paramount. Lionsgate. Do they have streaming services now? Because it seems like it. It seems like everybody has a streaming service when PlayStation is at it. Alright.
Continues to poach users from everywhere else. On top of all of that, the thing that everyone overlooks here is that YouTube is not totally separate from YouTube TV. In fact, this very channel is approved for watching on YouTube TV. Look, Ma, I'm a TV channel now. We appear in the From YouTube bar on YouTube TV when you search for us. We're still in the bottom, but we are there. Ads that run across YouTube TV also run across YouTube and vice versa, which means that YouTube TV isn't just trying to survive on its own, it's surviving with the support of its mega big sister, YouTube Main, and also Google, and also Alphabet, the company that owns all of them. YouTube raked in a reported $15 billion in ad revenue last year alone.
$15 billion in ad revenue alone. That's amazing.
On top of that, YouTube is focused on a metric that gets overlooked on a lot of these other platforms. The magic 2 words, watch time. YouTube TV has 2 million paying subscribers, but YouTube Main has 2 billion monthly users and also has 250 million watch hours daily. According to IG.com, quote, people spend more time on YouTube in almost every major global economy excluding China than any other video streaming site, end quote. YouTube has the ability to funnel users towards YouTube TV from an entertainment platform they already love based on watch time that dwarfs literally any other entertainment medium out there in the world. Like I said, people aren't thinking about it, but YouTube TV is a massive competitor in the race. And to top off all its other features, it's totally usable. Remember when I said that no one can find anything on Amazon Prime? That CBS Online is annoying to use? Well, YouTube TV is not. I can use it. My father-in-law can use it. My grandpa can use it because it looks and feels a lot like regular TV did with old cable. It has a lot of channels. I don't watch most of them. It has commercials.
Is this a sponsorship for YouTube TV? Is this getting us to go over YouTube TV? Because it feels like it. Feels like it.
It costs $50 a month. Wait a minute! YouTube TV is just cable all over again! YouTube TV is just cable. It's just a bunch of channels and I can switch back and forth between them. And like, yeah, it's got like an unlimited DVR feature or whatever, but damn it, they got me again. And here's the moral of today's streaming wars theory, my friend. Whoever wins, we lose. The streaming wars seem really exciting. Everything that's happening with all these platforms showing up and making headlines seems groundbreaking. It seems like entertainment is in an upheaval. But the truth is that those who are poised to be the winners are set up to win using the exact same tactics that cable companies have used since the very first pay TV service started in 1972. It was called Home Box Office, or HBO for short. When that first premiered back in 1972, it cost $6 a month. It worked by aggregating the rights to movies that were otherwise going unwatched and uncared about. Sound like someone you know? The history of cable is quite frankly worth its own episode, but for now, suffice it to say that no one, from Amazon to Hulu to Disney Plus to YouTube TV, is reinventing the wheel here. 10 years ago, we were at a juncture where we could have reinvented entertainment or taken a completely different path. But between bundling, advertisements, and siloing of content behind lots of paywalls, we're quickly just headed back towards a future that looks just like the past. When the dust settles and the streaming wars are finally over, it doesn't seem like it's going to be any less expensive or any less fragmented. Will there be some differences this time around? Sure. Thanks to the internet, viewers are at least in a better position to make their opinions heard, as well as completely pan a show or a company if they make a misstep. That said, another 10 years down the line and we're likely to see most of the small players swallowed up by the big guys, who will only have each other to compete with using a lot of the tactics that we've all seen before. And where will I be? Well, still shelling out for everything, because seriously, I have to watch everything for this channel. It's completely ridiculous how many shows I'm supposed to know nowadays. I was hoping that the streaming wars would thin out a few of these, but I guess not. In the meantime, remember, it's all just a theory. A film theory. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go and watch the finale of BoJack Horseman. And cut.
So yeah, guys, thanks for watching, and of course, peace. I'll be back. Peace.